guys, how are y'all today? The hat will last for a couple of minutes, but after that, it's done. It will drive me batty. I hope everybody's having a great season and having a good week. I'm jiggling my table. I apologize. My camera sits on it. Um, Today is a crazy day for, I'm trying to get ready for the family to come there. My husband's family's all coming to visit us. So I'm trying to get some baking done ahead of time. Today is bread day. So I'm making rolls downstairs. Hopefully they don't fall while they're rising while I'm up here working, but we'll see. So hi Kelly, hi Marcia, hi Sherry, hi Robin. Like I said, it's only going to last a few seconds. Um, Today, I decided to try to kind of give you all maybe an idea for a stocking stumper or a stocking present or just a gift exchange to kind of give some people. I haven't tried cutting it out yet, but I think it will work. I saw what was I trying to say? I saw it at the store the other day and I thought, my scan and cut can make that. And I can make the design probably something similar in either Canvas Workspace or PE-DESIGN or BES4. Any of those I could do it with. So yeah, I think we should be able to have a little bit of fun with that today. Karen, I hope you're feeling better. Hi, Sharon. Great to see you today. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, the gang's all rolling in. Good to see you guys. And yesterday, you may have seen me twice over at Sewing Machines Plus. Tomorrow, I will be not tomorrow, Thursday, I'll be on with All Brands doing scan and cut. So last minute gift ideas, whether it be Hanukkah, Christmas, or whatever, or just seasonal stuff on scan and cut. So come join us on Thursday as well. Bridget, it's been a while. Good to see you here today. All right, guys, let's go pop over here and I'm going to kind of show you we'll let you all decide what you think it is if I don't give it away by having my name up on it. So let me open up the project so you can see where we're going to go. And this is what we're going to do. So any guesses as to what this little guy is? Let's see how your brains work today. I'm going to give you all a few seconds to kind of come in and figure out what this might be. And then I'll show you how I did it here. Nope, not a gift box. Could be, but that's not what it is. Good guess though. It could be an ornament, but once again, not an ornament. It's something useful in the kitchen is what I'll give you my hint for. So as you're thinking about it, I'm going to show you how we started it. Satanic sculpture. No, not a basket, but it could turn into a basket if you wanted to. It could be a trivet. Pot saver, Mary, you got it. So that is what it is. It's a pot saver. So what you would do is you would cut this out of 2 layers of felt. So what I would do is I would bond 2 layers of craft felt together and then cut this out. So it's basically to go between your pots to keep your pots from scratching each other. You could make them in various sizes, but the widest we can get one is about 12 inches. So this is as big as I could make it, but you could do various things with it. If you wanted to sew up the sides, you could make it into a vase, a bowl, whatever you wanted to do. But my theory was I saw these pot savers at the store the other day and I thought, I can make those with my scan and cut. And I don't think people will figure out exactly what they are unless they've seen them themselves. So let's go show you how we made them. Yeah, you could do a frisbee and your dog would be happy as heck to go after it. So what I did was I grabbed a rectangle. Actually, first I grabbed this little shape right here. I don't know what we want to call that one. I didn't mean to grab 2 of them, but that's the shape I grabbed. Okay. And then I grabbed a rectangle. And I drug it over here and I rotated that 90 degrees. So let's take that and rotate it 90 degrees and put it at the bottom of this shape. And let's see here. Let's make our rectangle the same width as the bottom of that. And so that's what we've got right there. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this and paste it. And take it over to this side and we will rotate it. Let's rotate it this direction. I'm a little bit better with this little angle guy over on my properties window. I can get a little bit more precise with that. So that's what I tend to do. There we go. And if you want to get really close in and make sure you've got the right angle, which I don't quite have it, I'm like 1 degree off. There we go. 18 would be that one. And then copy it and paste it again. And you're just going to continue to go around your shape and get all of your legs in, basically, is what I would call these. And let's see here. We're almost there. A little bit more. Oops, too far. One too far. There we go. Copy it and paste it. This one we may be able to just flip. And it should be basically the same angle, and it was. And we should be able to grab this one, copy it, paste it, and flip it as well, and take it right over here. So those two angles should be the same on either side. And that's your basic concept, okay? Now, what I then did so that I could overlap these guys was I grabbed in my layers menu over here, this is your layers key. I grabbed my original shape that I put on there and went to my edit menu. And then I scrolled down and chose offset. And I went inward and I chose beveled because I didn't want it to round my corners. And then I said, okay. And then I took these guys right here and laid them on top of that, basically, because I wanted them to overlap each other just slightly. And this gave me that line up to be able to do that without me having to think real hard about it. So then you can get rid of that shape that you just added, the small one, and you've got all of your pieces, parts together, and they're overlapping. So grab everything, Control A on your keyboard, and go to your edit menu. And then let's go down here and let's tell it we want it to weld. There we go. So now let's look and see what we've got. We've got that welded. Our shape's pretty good. I'm going to make it as big as I can make it in my area, and that's pretty much as big as I can make it. I've got a little bit of a wonky-do right there. That's a new word for you, wonky-do. So let's just take that and move it straight down. There we go. You never know what words you'll learn from me in a live session. One never can tell. So that's where I got that. Now, I wanted to go in and I wanted to add those little shapes. So I went into my projects. So these are your Canvas projects. Remember, I use these a lot to get different shapes out of. And this right here, this lampshade, I tried taking that and just welding it. That didn't work. So we're going to just use this part right here. And I'm going to take it over to the side out of my way. And we'll go into our layers menu and get rid of all of the white on it. So select all of those with your shift key, and we're going to press delete on the keyboard to get rid of them all. And then tap that twice and watch what you can do. We can grab those little edit nodes. I just drew around them. We're going to delete those points and draw around those. And let's delete those points. You're now left with the little basic shape that I put in the middle. So you can take it and make it bigger or smaller. I think I made it a little bit smaller, but you could certainly, if you want to, you could make it the entire center of that area. Once you decide what size you want it to be, which I think I went with this, we select all and then go to your edit menu, horizontal center, vertical center. Now let's copy that and then select all and group so that I don't mess that area up. That area is set and ready to go. Now I'm going to paste. So, oops. That's not exactly what I meant to do. I grabbed the wrong one. I want that one. There we go. I don't really care where everything is just yet. I just want this guy right here. And we're going to take him and move him over here and make three of them. Three of him. Copy, paste, and paste again. So Control C, Control V. And then we can take him, grab all of him, horizontal center, and we don't want to do vertical. We want to distribute them. And I want them about about a quarter of an inch apart. Now let's take those and see if we like them. Yep, that's pretty good. I can live with that. How about y'all? So let's group that guy. And now, oops, what am I going to do? I'm going to copy them, paste them, take them over here, and rotate them. And you'll do that for all of the sides. And if you keep it down at the corner there, you see how you can see that it's straight? So then you can take it and move it in. Oops. If you double tap it, you'll get one. So I'm going to copy it and paste it again. Control C, Control V. And if y'all don't know where that Control V came from, you're not old as dirt. So Control V, if you remember when you were a kid in school and your teacher took that red marker, and if she wanted you to insert something onto your paper, she would mark a V on the top of it. V is for insert. And that's also paste. So if you can remember that, that's how that keyboard shortcut came about. I'm going to copy it again and I'm going to paste it. So I'm old as dirt. And let's see here. We could actually mirror that one, and that should be the right angle. Come on, let me have you. And that looks right. Let's take this one and copy it and paste it and then flip it, and it should be the right angle. And there you have it. You now have your little pot divider, plate divider. It's a multi-purpose tool. So grab it all, select all, group that bad boy together, or you could choose subtract. Nope, we don't want to subtract, so just group it together because it doesn't matter. As long as you group Control A for all, Control G for group, you're now grouped together, and you should be able to go forth and multiply and cut that out on your scan and cut. So that's how that one goes. Any questions on that guy? I'm going to come up here and look. It looks like something you could throw. Your dog would probably be very happy that you threw a little Frisbee around, but who knows? It could become a napkin holder if you wanted to. So, you know, egg holder, probably not, but you might try it. I mean, those are all good guesses. Yeah, between the china plates, that's an excellent use for them as well. So there's a lot of things that you could do. Mary, you could use foam if you want to. So it's not set in stone. The ones that I saw were made out of a really stiff felt. So if you have some really stiff craft felt that's 12 by 12, go for it. Usually it's kind of hard to find 12 by 12 sheets of anything unless it's in the craft store. So usually I end up buying, that's why I just buy inexpensive craft felt and bond it together to make 2 layers of it. But if you find the stiff felt, you wouldn't need to do 2 layers of anything. So that is how you would do that one in CanvasWorkspace. But let's say you want to do it with a few more tools that you have available, and you have PE-DESIGN or BES 4. So we're going to take it over to PE-DESIGN this time. Now I exported that one of those little guys. So let me go up here and grab one. So let's just grab this guy right here. I'm going to copy him, and I'm going to do File New, and we won't save that. Actually, I will save that. And I'm just going to paste that one down, and let's rotate it to where it's back up to 90 degrees angle. Okay. I exported this to my computer so that I could use it in PE-DESIGN and BES. So let's see here. We'll call this, what do I want to call this? Shape for pot divider. Okay. So now let's go over to our PE-DESIGN. I'll start here first. And this is our goal. So this is what we're working on here. And I'm going to show you how I made myself basically a hoop that represents my mat. I swear I did Control Alt and Delete, but it's not liking me right now. I wonder what the neighborhood's doing. Evidently, I've crashed and burned a computer. Let's see if we can just open up a new window of it. I bonded my felt with I mean, you can use the Brother, what is it called? Iron-on fabric applique contact sheets. You can use Heat and Bond Light. The reason that was blackened, Sharon, is because it's painted that area in. And if you looked at the original, boy, howdy, I have locked this up. If you look at the original file here, do you see that file right there? Because that's what we started with. How originally the white area is what we kept is not darkened in, but the area outside it is. What happens is they had turned that into a fill. So all they had done is paint it in. But if I come in here and I delete everything besides those shapes in the center, then that area is going to be filled in. If you don't want it filled in, all you do is go into your property, the paintbrush, the properties, click on the fill and turn it to no fill. And then you just have the outline. I like working with color occasionally, just simply because it gives me, I can see what I'm working with. So a lot of times I will color it in on purpose just so that I can see the difference between the different shapes so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so let's see here if we can, that is just not liking me at all, but I've got a new window, so hold on a sec. While that one's crashing and burning, I got a new window. All right, so what I did was, first of all, in PE-DESIGN, I came in here and I selected my design settings icon, which is the hoop, okay? And then I went into Edit User Hoop. I wanted to make myself a 12 by 12 mat. Basically, it's 11.75. And if you think of it this way, 4 inches is 100 millimeters. A 12-inch mat, 4 times 3. If I come in here and I do 300 by 300, that would be a 12 by 12-inch mat, basically. And then you can name your mat. You can see here I've named mine 300 by 300 millimeter scan and cut. And if I did the same thing here, I could do that as well. And then I selected Add Hoop. Once you've added that hoop, when you go to your hoop selection menu and you scroll all the way down, there's a little line, and any of the hoops that you've created yourself will be right there. This is not one for me to embroider. This is one that I'm going to actually use just for scan and cut. So I can't send this to an embroidery machine. It's too big for any of my embroidery machines, but I can use it for when I'm designing for the scan and cut, and it will allow me to use that area. So here's what I did with this one. I grabbed my shape tool and I grabbed my rectangle drawing tool and I drew myself a rectangle. And then I went to the home page and I said arrange copy, and I chose the circle copy tool. And I chose number, and I wanted 5 of them. And I made myself a pretty big circle. If you wanted a perfect circle, hold the shift key down. And I rotated those until, do you see how they're just slightly overlapping each other? That's exactly what I want them to do. So I left clicked, and there they are. Now I went modify overlap and I merged those shapes to where they became one unit. So now you can see they're all one thing and it's got a hole in the center of it. Well, I don't want a hole in the center of it. How in the heck do I get rid of that? Pretty easy. If you look over here, you see a plus sign next to the red. If you don't see a plus sign next to the red, then show by color order is not on, and you'll just see the red shape in the center. You can select it, click on the select patterns icon, move your cursor out of the sewing order window, and then press delete on your keyboard. And now you have just your plain old basic shape. Okay. So now if I go to my scan and cut tab and I choose import, this guy right here, I'm going to choose that little, what is it, pot for, oh, you're wondering why those are not actually filled. Those are from the Canvas Workspace. But if I send something from BES4 and it's got a fill on it, it will automatically fill in Canvas Workspace. I hope you didn't lose the feed, Robin. I don't know. Anybody else having issues? So I'm going to turn on, I've got my item imported. I'm going to turn on a fill stitch for it and make my color something besides blue so I can tell the difference between it. So I don't know, guys. It does not show me having a low bandwidth. So maybe it's YouTube messing up today and not Facebook. I don't know. Yesterday, Facebook totally dropped the Sewing Machines Plus. So I don't know. So I'm going to select all, Control A, or draw back around the whole thing. And we're going to go Arrange, Center. Oops, I didn't mean left. Arrange Center and Arrange Middle. I'm getting used to a new mouse here. So sometimes I get a little weird. So now it's in the center. I'm going to come and grab my little piece there and I'm going to copy it and paste it and move it out to the side. Let me make sure I didn't jiggle. Arrange center, arrange middle. And now I'm going to group that section together. So that whole item right there is one unit and this is by itself. So here's what I'm going to do for this one. This is kind of a cool little tool we have here in PE-DESIGN. What I can do is go to Arrange Copy and do Matrix Copy. And then start where I want it to start, left mouse clicks and drag down, and you'll notice I get 3 copies. Now, if I want it to be bigger, spaced further apart, I can actually change that spacing there, but that's actually pretty perfect. So I'm just going to left mouse click to set it, and then I'm going to group that segment. And let's move it to where it's in the center. So select everything, arrange, center. So now it's in line with that other shape. Now what are we going to do with this one? We're going to take it and we're going to do that arrange copy, circle copy tool again. I love my circle copy tool. And I'm going to choose 5 as my number one more time because I want 5 total. Hold my shift key down to make myself a perfect circle. And then left click when I have them where I want them to go. I don't think I have my circle as wide as I want it, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to left mouse click when I got them where I want them to go. I'm going to group those guys for a second and then Control M to move it to the middle. Not quite exactly, so let's take it and move them down a little bit. All right, so they're spaced where I want them, so let me ungroup them and then I can move them where I want them. So ungroup, they're close. The angles are mostly right. We can take and tweak them just a little bit if we want to. I lost my middle position for that guy right there, didn't I? There we go. So I'm pretty happy with the results of that. Princess will go walking in a minute, baby. And now I've got my shapes. Now, some things that I learned today that were interesting. If I go up to my Scan and Cut tab and I choose Export, and I take my offset spacing all the way down to nothing, and I take that little check mark off, you'll notice that the only one that it picks up is that one in the center. Let's see if I ungroup, if that makes a difference, just out of curiosity. I'm going to try it one more time, just seeing if I missed something. Nope. So here's what I learned I have to do. Select all, go to your Home tab, modify overlap, and remove the overlap. Once you've done that, then when you go to your Scan and Cut tab and choose Export, take the offset spacing all the way down to nothing, take that check mark off, and there you have your Scan and Cut file ready to go for yourself. You can simply send it to CanvasWorkspace. Let's see if it's going to recognize me today, or if I'm going to have to log in. I don't have to log in, so that's good. It's been sent to CanvasWorkspace. Now I can say OK, and it's going to ask me, do I want to send it to my Scan and Cut as well? Yes, I do. So when I touch yes, it will be waiting for me over there at my Scan and Cut. Well, you lucky girl, you have both the Scan and Cut SDX 3225 and a 330D. You've got both of them. Cool beans. You're going to have fun. So you can run more than one off CanvasWorkspace. It'll just sit there and be there at both places. So I use my CanvasWorkspace all the time with multiples. You can have up to 3 Scan and Cuts registered. And if you have, actually, you can have up to 4, but if you're wanting to add your luminaire to it, if you've got the SDX 325 or the 330D, then a total of 4 machines combined. So at least one space has to be available for the machine itself. All right, so that is how you make it in CanvasWorkspace and PE-DESIGN. In PE-DESIGN, it is a bit easier, just simply because you have all of the different tools that you have available there to be able to play with. All right, one last place, and then we're going to call it a day. If you don't have PE-DESIGN and you don't like CanvasWorkspace and you have BES 4, we can do it there as well. Okay. A little bit, if you have Power Pack2, it's much easier. But I'm thinking we can do it now. This one I haven't played with in advance to see, so we'll learn this one together. We are going to go to our Home tab, and we're going to add a design, and I'm using Power Pack2. Okay, there should be a square here. There we go. I'm just going to left click and make a square, and then I'm going to make that square a rectangle. Let's turn on our cutting mat so we can see what we've got to work with. Let's make that a little bit smaller because it's a bit bigger than I want it to be. All right. So there I've got one. Now I'm going to go to my Tools tab, and I'm going to say Arrange and on a circle. And I'm going to tell it I want 5 of them. And I want to rotate my angle. Nope, not that angle. So let's go back to where it had all 5 of them. Oops, there we go. I want to rotate the angle of the design itself to where they're facing inward. This one's a little bit more complicated because you got to pay attention to what it looks like. I've got 6 and I only want 5. So let's change those angles just a bit. All right, and I want to make the width of my circle bigger. So if you make your width bigger, you'll notice that they should start opening up there in the center. There we go. And I believe we have it. So we're going to go ahead and say, okay. There's our basic shape that we wanted to work with. We can make it just a little bit bigger, it looks like. And now let's take it and let's weld it together. So if we go up to our Arrange tab, Transform Artwork and Weld, it will weld the whole kit and caboodle together. Now I'm wondering if I can get rid of that center part by breaking apart, and I sure can. And so now we should see that little center part and press delete on the keyboard. So now we're left with the basic shape. And we want to bring in our little FCM file. So, wow, that's weird. Let me come up here and go import and choose import artwork. Let's find my little guy. What is it? It is, what do I call that? Should be right here. Oh, there it is. Pot project shape. There we go. So let's center that whole kit and caboodle with the whole thing. So horizontal center, vertical center, that's ready to go. We're going to take that and copy it and paste it. So now I've got two. And I'm going to go to my Tools tab again, Arrange, and let's do Arrange on Rows. We want the number down to be 3, and we want the number across to be 1, and we want them separated. So let's see here. Horizontal distance. Nope, vertical distance. That's what we want. Got to remember whether I'm doing horizontal or vertical here. And I think I want them spaced about 5 millimeters apart. Say okay. And let's group those guys together. Now let me take this and rotate it. I want one straight up and down. Where's my little circle? There's my little circle. I want one to be straight up and down so I can have something to work with. There we go. Okay, so let's take this and put it in the middle. And then we want to go Arrange, Copy, on Circle. And we want to change that angle to where they are all angled the same direction towards the inside. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool snowflake. You'd have to do some playing with that, but that's kind of cool. And then increase the spacing from your center. And I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. Move it up here and then rotate it into position. So I've got a little work to do yet. We'll take that and we'll grab, let me ungroup. And then I'm going to grab those 3 right there and group them back together. So this one didn't do me as nice as the other one did, just simply because of the angles. So let's grab those right there and group them. And change that angle just a hair's breadth. Since I rotated that one into position, it kind of messed up with my angles there. So group it. It got me close, just not quite where I wanted it to be. Let's rotate. And take this one and grab all those, group. Oh, that's why I had 6 instead of 5. I'm like, that should have worked, but I didn't change my number to 5. That was my magical mistake. You do have to pay attention to how many copies you want of something. And let's take, undo. That green button is your best friend here. I'm going to group that one and take it, rotate it to where it's straight up and down and pop it in there. Now, you guys can actually, if you want, you could cut it just like it is. You don't have to do anything special at this point, but you can also take it, grab the whole kit and caboodle, go to your Arrange tab, go to Transform, and you could divide, remove overlaps, out, or minus front. Let's see what minus front does for us. No, we don't want to do that. So let's go remove overlaps. Oh, actually, let's combine it. There we go. That's perfect. Combine is exactly what I wanted it to do. So it combined it to make it all one unit. Okay. So that would be the better option. There is the combine button, because then it makes it all one kit and caboodle. And when you take it to the scan and cut, it's just like it's grouped. You don't have to worry about it. All right. Sorry about that, Robin. I have no idea what to tell you there. The import artwork, black squares, if you have, sometimes when you save something out from BES, you'll get a black square because it's not recognizing that version of an FCM file. So just keep that in mind. That's generally an item that has to do with BES4 when you're sending something. If you're doing with CanvasWorkspace, you should not see the black square. But usually that is has to do with when you're sending something out that is a filled space from BES4 or BES3. So yeah, I ended up with those 6 spokes. I didn't mean to. I wasn't paying attention. So I don't know what to tell you, Robin. Yesterday it was Facebook that was having a problem. Today it's YouTube. It's why I stream on 2 platforms. So hopefully one of them works. You can come join us on Facebook. Okay. Let's see here, Marcia. Marcia, if it's an open type font, I think BES will read it, but I don't think PE-DESIGN will. Okay. Just kind of keep that in mind. As far as I know, Mary, no, we are not discontinuing the Persona. It's a great little machine. We love that bad boy. And haven't heard a word about discontinuing it. What you're seeing is that the dealers are allowed to sell it on the internet these days. So that was a pandemic response to allow people to be able to purchase things for the dealers to be able to stay in business when you couldn't go to their physical locations. There are restrictions on what a dealer can and cannot sell online, and there are restrictions as to how much they can advertise something for. That way they are competitive with, they're not, if they're a bigger guy and they understand technology and they can get on and sell things live, then they don't have a truly unfair advantage over the smaller dealer who may not buy a gazillion of them at one time. So there's always a minimum advertised price, a MAP price on pretty much every product that you buy from anybody. I just bought a KitchenAid mixer. Boy, I'm so excited. I used it today for the first time. I had one, but this time I bought the bad boy. I bought one that's a 7/4 instead of my little 4.5. The other one I've had for 25 plus years. My mom bought it for me just shortly after I got married, and I was in heaven. And I still use. I mean, this is a great mixer. I'm going to take it down to my dad so I don't have to carry one back and forth with me, because the bad boy's not leaving my house. It's candy apple red, and it is so pretty. That was my birthday present from my dad. So I had saved my money for the past few years, and he always sends me a check for my birthday, and that's what I ended up buying with it. So it is, the other one was a workhorse, but this one is so quiet and has such power. So, yesterday I demoed the Persona in the morning. I showed how to use the cap frame attachment, the cap jig, and its little driver, the cap driver, and the basic overall features of the machine itself. And then in the afternoon, I showed how to split a design for the Durkee 8x14 inch hoop, so that's there. Yeah, it's not the lightest of things. It's not one that you want to carry around with you all the time. That's why I said I think I'm going to take my old one and take it down to my dad's to let it stay there. Marcia, a PNG file is an artwork file. So an artwork program will read it. You can bring it in as a backdrop in PE-DESIGN to trace around that, because it's just an image file. You could do that also in BES4. Yeah, we're truly not discontinuing that one. As far as I know, I have not heard any inklings of it. We love that machine. It's a little workhorse, and I mean that's one that I've personally purchased. It's a little workhorse. No, you cannot download fonts into the Scan and Cut. What you can do is use them through your BES or your PE-DESIGN. Actually, I take that back. You can use open type fonts, and yes, you don't put them into the, what am I trying to say? You don't put them into CanvasWorkspace itself, but they show up in your CanvasWorkspace list. So if you go into your text tool and you type in, your text, and you come up here and you select anything beneath the word all fonts. These are the true type fonts that you have on your computer. These are not within BES4. These are external fonts. So this is where you'll find those that you download and install to your computer. Okay. So that's where those go, Marcia. All right, Cindy, good to see you back. Yours is your mixer's living at your son's house. Oh, I couldn't handle that. I actually am going to try to do a show next week. The in-laws are getting here on Tuesday, but my plan is to go ahead and do a live next Tuesday, last minute ideas. So, if you have questions, please be sure and send those in for next week. It will probably be a little bit shorter of a show. I am planning on, we'll talk about quilt labels, easy, quick gifts, maybe things that you can have ready for gift exchanges. Maybe some Scan and Cut, a little bit of other stuff, and we may do a Christmas tree word collage, because I was going to use that today and didn't get a chance to, so we'll probably do that. Mary, you should be able to find that on Sewing Machines Plus. You can watch their replay. You should be able to see it. I would go to their YouTube channel, because their Facebook channel messed up before I got to the second session. So for some reason their Facebook feed dropped before I got to my second session. It dropped right in the middle of Sarah's presentation. So YouTube was filming the whole time. And Brother was the first half of the day. So I started out, I'm the first one on there, and then I'm the last one on there. So about halfway through the show, I would be the last Brother presenter. Okay. Best place to send me questions, you can either Facebook Messenger me, Sharon, you can send me an email. And I did see your question yesterday. I've just been swamped. And let me answer that real quick for Sharon before I get off of here. In BES4, I will pop that up here. You wanted to know, let me go home and select all and get rid of this little bad boy. Let's go to the text tool and the normal text tool. Okay, so here's my text, and I've got multiple lines of text. And your question was, should you put them in separately or together? So it depends on how you want to do things. You can do it either way. You have spacing over here on the right-hand side, and you have line spacing. So line spacing, if you want them closer together, and you want them evenly spaced, if you type in the spacing that you want, let's say we want 5, and I'll apply. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I want 5 right here. Undo is a girl's best friend. So let's see if we want it to be 0. So that's how you do it overall. Now, if you want to do one line instead, if you go to your text tool and you see these little squares in the center, if you hold the control key down, you can click on all of the squares, all three squares, and then you can put your cursor over one of those. Oops, undo. You want to keep your cursor on the last one. Undo. You do have to do this. It is touchy, so don't move your mouse. And then take them and you can drag them straight up. If you hold the shift key, they should stay in a straight line, but it did not. So we're just going to go there. And if you want to do this one, control, let go of the control key and then drag it up. So that's how you do them independently on change the space of each line. Now, if you want to do each line, you may find it easier. You're just going to deal with 3 lines of text. So if we come in here and we say, oh, I don't want to enter, I want to apply, backspace. So left click. All right, I'm going to select it all. And let me go to my centering tool. So go to Arrange, Horizontal Center. Now, what you can do is place your text approximately the way you want it. I'm going to center it again, horizontal center, and then you can say distribute horizontally, and it will distribute it to where they are evenly spaced. Actually, vertical is what I want, distribute vertical. There we go. Now they're evenly spaced in that area. So whatever you choose your last one, the placement of the last one, let me show you what I mean. If I move this one down, let me realign them. When I say distribute vertical, you'll notice that they are evenly spaced between that. If I move this one up and I select all 3 of them again, distribute vertical, now they're evenly spaced between there. So hopefully that helps. And like I said, I apologize for not answering yesterday. It was kind of answering yesterday. I saw it late last night, and then I totally forgot about it this morning. But send questions in for next week. If you have them, send them. I'll go back in and tag what we did in this video, and I shall see you next week. Actually, I may see you Thursday if you watch All Brands. If I'm making a recipe towel, I use a 60 weight thread. And which program are you wanting to use, BES or PE-DESIGN? I use in BES 4. Let me look over here and see. In BES 4, I'm going to come in and type in so we'll say chocolate cookies here. And I'm going to move that out of the way. And then let's say if it's not the title, I come in here and I say small fonts and apply. So when I go to small fonts as my filter, then only my small fonts show up. That one right there is lovely. I like Bambino and I like Petite 4. Those are probably my 2 favorite. My tip for you, change that connection type to as digitized so that it actually stitches the correct way. If you do that, it will stitch out lovely. If you leave it at closest, it's not going to stitch out very pretty. You're going to have a lot of jump stitches that are not happy, that you're not going to be happy with. Okay, so if I don't see you guys next week, I'm planning on being here, but if you're busy, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you after Christmas. I'm sure I'll see you that Tuesday. You all have a great week, and Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. So I'll see you next week. Oh, by the way, check out my tree. I actually got it. I got it decorated last night. It has my, what do I call them? Father Christmases on it. My husband decided we have too many ornaments downstairs, so he made me pick a theme for up here. So Father Christmas is up here. All right, guys, y'all have a great week. Bye bye.